With everyone all up in arms over the Black Ops Pass and Black Ops 4's complete and utter mess right now, I thought I would take this opportunity to point out something in Black Ops 3 that I noticed, and that I also noticed no one else is talking about. I think this is a very important thing to mention, to bring up, to put in the eyes of the public, and so it is my duty to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever it is that makes you happy, smoke a joint, I don't give a shit. Sit down and prepare to get angry, because this is going to be a fun one. So we all hate Activision, right? I mean, they're the ones responsible for all of this loot box, microtransaction, greedy, anti-consumer bullshit that's been happening in Call of Duty over the last 3 years. It's all their fault. Totally not the developers who decide how that stuff gets added into the game and how the players get it, right? Right? Yeah, turns out Activision may not be completely at fault for some of these bad ideas. You see, the point I want to make today is that these developers have a lot more control over how this micro DLC gets added to the game than you might think. Let's start with Treyarch and Black Ops 3, by far the worst offender of this in any Call of Duty game ever. You see, there's a reason this game caught the nickname Black Ops, because you're getting fucked pretty hard if you take this game seriously. This game featured a microtransaction system in which players would buy loot boxes, and those loot boxes would then grant them completely random items. There was no guarantee you'd get what you wanted, you couldn't pick what you wanted to work for or spend your money on, and there was no refund if you got something you didn't like. This resulted in people spending upwards of $1,000 and $2,000 for a chance to get what they wanted. Absolutely insane. Fast forward 1 year to Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, where we are greeted with an entirely new system of doing things. In Infinite Warfare, the players can now earn in-game currency through actually playing the game and not spending real-world money that allows them to directly purchase whatever items or weapons they may want in the game. Alternatively, Modern Warfare Remastered took the route of still allowing players to pick what items they wanted to work for, but you couldn't just buy the item outright, you had to purchase a bunch of stupid, pointless crap first, like calling cards and emblems and reticles, that were completely overpriced, by the way. And then, of course, World War II copied this system, which is an okay system. I just personally prefer Infinite Warfare's system of buying things directly instead of having to do all this crap with costumes and reticles and pistol grips and whatnot. Just give me the thing I want directly, please. This leads into my concerns for Black Ops 2 the 2nd and my current complaints for Black Ops the 3rd. You see, just a few months ago, Sledgehammer Games made some pretty big revamps to World War II, especially in the supply drop system. They said they weren't going to be adding any more pistol grips into the loot pool, thank God. They removed a lot of pointless filler content that was preventing people from getting the items they actually wanted, and they increased the drop rate of more rare items in the supply drops, which basically means they just made everything easier and more fun for people to get the things they actually want to get. Not only that, but players can get items they want by completing contracts from the Quartermaster or just doing your orders from Major Howard. These orders are not very difficult, and they reward players with supply drops, just straight up, or armory credits which can be used to work towards buying a specific item in the game. There are tons of ways for players to get what they want outside of just gambling on loot boxes where they have absolutely zero control.
Okay, Ian, we get it. Black Ops 3 has shitty loot boxes. Get to the point.
I guess I probably should do that, huh? My whole reason for making this video is to help you guys understand that Activision does not have complete control over what goes in the supply drops and how it gets to the players. That ultimately is up to the developers. Where's my proof for this? Just look at the differences between Black Ops 3's system, which makes everything you want to get incredibly impossible, and World War II, which is very generous to the player. Here's the thing, guys. If Activision was forcing all these developers to make the microtransactions greedy and hard to get, wouldn't World War II, Infinite Warfare, and Modern Warfare Remastered all have greedy, selfish, impossibly grindy supply drop systems like Black Ops 3 does? Psst, hey, the answer is yes. But they don't, and they don't because the developers have that control to say what gets put in the game, how it gets put in the game, and how players can access it. The point I am trying to drive home, without rambling on too much here, is that if the other developers can implement this consumer-friendly, generous micro DLC system, why can't Treyarch? They can do it just like Sledgehammer, just like Infinity Ward, and just like Raven Software. It's not Activision who's forcing them to make it greedy, it's Treyarch who is choosing to keep it this way. The best and most recent example of this is the classic M14 assault rifle they just added into the game a little less than a month ago. Let me tell you about this thing, guys. Naturally, this weapon is exclusively available in supply drops. But wait for it, here's the kicker. It's a limited time item, which means if you don't rush to the bank and take out $600 to spend on supply drops, and you didn't get this thing within 29 days, fuck you. Guess you just didn't spend enough money, and now you're never gonna get it. Ever. Again. Thanks for playing our game. And this is a damn good weapon too. Like, look at the gameplay. People who own this will have an advantage over other players. If you're a fan of Black Ops and you still play Black Ops 3, you're gonna want this thing, not only because it's good, but also because you probably have fond memories of it. I, for example, remember a ton of times using this thing in Zombies. And it's just absolutely scummy that Treyarch has decided to implement this weapon the way they did. And the fact that they have the nerve to say Blackjack is feeling generous? Are you fucking serious? So this is how they say fuck you, I mean thank you to their fans, who have been loyal supporters and players of their games for the last 10 years. This is how they show their gratitude to us, by purposefully releasing content they know we can't pass up, like classic weapons, and then not only locking those items behind supply drops that are completely randomized, but making them limited time items, so we feel pressured to go out and spend money, because God knows you will never make enough crypto keys to open enough supply drops to get one of these things in the game without spending a dime. You would think, with how many people have spoken out against Black Ops 3's supply drop system over the years, and with how the other developers have changed their systems to better fit us as fans, somewhere along the line Treyarch would have said, you know what, maybe we should just stop doing this and give them a better way to acquire this micro DLC. And don't give me any nonsense about, oh well, the system they have in the game has to stay there because they can't change it. That is complete bullshit, seeing as how Sledgehammer just revamped World War II's system a few months ago, and Treyarch actually did not start off Black Ops 3 with contracts and all the features that the black market has now. Even though those features still suck, at least it's better than nothing. So they can change it, they can add things to it, they can revamp it, they just don't want to.
Oh, but Ian, what about the specialist uniforms they added that you can buy directly?
You know what, I'm so glad you brought that up, because as it turns out, those uniforms were only temporary. And of course, Treyarch didn't tell us they were temporary, they just one day removed them from the black market with no warning whatsoever. But even when they were still available, I had an issue with the way they were being delivered to us. You see, first you had to buy COD points with your real money, then you had to buy a contract in the game with the COD points, then you had to beat the contract to get the outfit. And if you just wanted the outfit without putting in all the work, then you gotta spend double the amount of COD points than you normally would. Instead of just, you know, being able to go to the PlayStation store and spend $5 for a costume, or like $2 for a camo, or $10 for a gun, no, of course we have to do the most convoluted, unnecessarily complicated thing we can possibly think of, right, Treyarch? This is what happens when you feed a developer's ego far too long. We've been telling them for years they make the best COD games, the best maps, the best guns, the best stories, the best characters, the best everything. And it's gone to their heads. They think they can just do whatever the hell they want and will continue to eat it up like it's nothing. This has gone on far too long, and what really surprises me is the fact that I haven't seen or heard anyone else talk about this. I've hated Black Ops 3's supply drop system for years, so have lots of other people. But I figured that when this M14 got added, someone like Prestigious Key or Drifter or Nero Cinema would have brought this up and discussed just how big of an issue this is to give an actual weapon with different stats out to players in limited quantity, making only a few players out of the entire population have access to a weapon that performs better than the base weapons in the game. This is a huge issue, not just for the meta of the game, but also because it's just scummy to hand out content like this. For this very reason, I don't really know if I want to play Black Ops 4 anymore. I did at first, it actually looked really interesting and I was excited to play it, but after E3, after the Black Ops Pass, after the Back in Black map packs only being available on PlayStation for digital users, and after the way we've been treated in Black Ops 3 by both Activision and Treyarch respectively, I hope Black Ops 4 crashes and burns. Maybe then they'll finally realize they can't keep treating us like this. And that's sad because I don't want to wish failure upon anyone who's in this creative line of work. And Black Ops 4, just as a game in and of itself, looks great. It looks fun. It looks like it has mechanics that I would enjoy as a player. And I probably will still try the beta, but as my mom would always say, a great predictor of future behavior is past actions. And if the way we've been treated in Black Ops 3 is anything to go by, that doesn't give me confidence for Black Ops 4. So despite the game itself looking good, the business practice and the greed that's taken over both Activision and Treyarch over recent years is enough to keep me away. You've given us the finger enough times, Treyarch, and it's our turn to give it right back to you. This year, instead of just saying no to the Black Ops Pass, say no to Treyarch entirely. Show them that you're tired of being treated this way and you refuse to have any more of it. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you soon.